It was 6:12 a.m. when Emily Grace stepped off the last bus at Wacker Drive, downtown Chicago. Her hair was damp, not just from the cold drizzle, but also from the 3-mile walk she'd taken before catching that bus. She had borrowed the blazer from a shelter bin. Her blouse was missing a button, and her hands trembled slightly. Not from fear, but hunger. She had skipped dinner the night before to save her last $5 for bus fare. Stratford Holdings looked like a palace. High ceilings, granite floors, gold-lettered nameplates. Everyone was in navy suits and high heels. The receptionist, Brittany, looked at her. Up, down, and then once more, slower. "Interviews are for applicants," she said with a tight smile. "Are you delivering something?" Emily's voice cracked. I have an interview." 9 a.m. The whisper to her colleague wasn't exactly quiet. They laughed. Emily stood silent, with a soft, polite nod. Because life had taught her something. Some battles you fight by walking forward. The waiting room smelled like leather and wealth. Her stomach growled, but she covered it with her bag. While waiting, she noticed others, Ivy League kids with fresh resumes, designer folders, MacBooks. Emily had nothing but one creased page. But what they didn't know, she had read every business case online for free at public libraries. She had studied corporate finance through borrowed textbooks. She had cleaned motel rooms at night just to afford bus fare for interviews. One of the other applicants whispered to her, "You're brave coming in like that." She smiled. "No, just hungry. Not for food, for a chance." When she was called inside, the room felt like judgment incarnate. 4 panelists. Cold smiles. One said, "You don't seem prepared." Another, "Your resume's limited." She was honest. "I wasn't born into opportunity, but I know how to work. I learn fast. I don't give up." A chuckle. "What makes you think you can survive here?" She swallowed and said quietly, "Because I've survived worse." There was silence, until the door opened. Nathaniel Stratford walked in, the kind of man whose presence silenced rooms. He paused, looked at Emily, then at the panel. "What's going on?" "She's applying for the intern rotation, but lacks a traditional background," someone said. He raised an eyebrow. "Is that so?" Then turned to her. "Where'd you study?" "I couldn't afford college, but I studied every free course I could find. Nights, mornings, lunch breaks." Nathaniel stared for a moment, then walked toward the window. The room held its breath. Finally, he spoke. "I grew up with a mother who was laughed at for her apron. She worked until her hands bled, but she fed me dreams. I built this company because someone once gave me a chance. Just one." "Hire her now," one of the panelists protested. "Sir," her appearance, Nathaniel cut him off, voice ice cold. "If she had a better appearance but no heart, would you still hire her? What are we really choosing, skills or skin?" He walked out without waiting for approval. "Emily?" She had tears in her eyes, but she held them back, because she had just been seen. For the first time. She didn't get a corner office, she got the mailroom. But she showed up an hour early every day, stayed late, organized reports, cleaned break rooms, memorized financial terminology during lunch. She listened, learned. One Friday night, she helped a junior executive fix a misfiled contract, saving a $1.2 million deal. Word spread, Nathaniel noticed. In 14 months, she was promoted to assistant coordinator. In 2 years, junior analyst, then manager. She worked while studying at night, earned her bachelor's online, then an MBA, funded partly by Nathaniel's scholarship program. One day, she walked into an internal strategy meeting, and the same Brittany, now a temp assistant, looked up and froze. Emily, in a sharp suit and heels, smiled gently and said, "Would you get us coffee, please?" No sarcasm, no revenge, just grace. One evening, years later, Emily walked into a restroom stall and collapsed. She had just lost a $4 million client after a pitch didn't land. The board doubted her. She overheard whispers, "She's too emotional, too soft, too unpolished." In the silence, she remembered her mother, remembered holding her hand in the hospital, remembered her last words, "The world will laugh, Emmy, but keep walking, even if your feet bleed." She wiped her tears, stood up, and walked back into the meeting room. Within 6 months, she won back the client and brought 3 new ones. One of them invested $20 million. The board fell silent, permanently. When Nathaniel announced his retirement, speculation was wild. No one expected him to choose Emily. But in his final address, he said, "She didn't inherit this company. She earned it. From rain-soaked mornings to boardroom storms, she stayed. She learned. She built." If you still believe leadership wears Prada, let me introduce you to someone who wore hope, hunger, and humility. The crowd stood and applauded, and Emily Grace took the mic. On her first day as CEO, she opened her drawer, found a letter Nathaniel had left. "Never forget who you were before the world saw your shine. Hire others like her. Build ladders. Be the voice someone prayed for." Emily framed that letter, and every month she visited shelters, not for charity, but to recruit, because she knew the next Emily Grace might be waiting, holding a wrinkled resume and broken shoes, hoping the world will see more than her clothes.